CEO of SberCity, Andrey Likhachev, Managing Director of RBC Real Estate, Ignat Bushukhin. Hi everyone, my name is Ignat Bushukhin. I'm going to talk with Andrey Likhachev, the CEO of SberCity project. Today we're going to talk about the urban environment. As a startup, it's open public talk. We have around 30 minutes. Andrey Likhachev has a presentation, so let's start with the presentation, and after that it will be followed by my questions. So our forum is held in SberCity. Many of you have noticed that. This volume, this type of property, what stands behind that? What is the concept, the idea behind the project? So that's the answer to the first question that we are expecting from you. And then we would like to ask why some startup cities can be implemented and why some others remain on paper in some projects, in designs. Thank you. Hi, everyone. You're right now at the unique place, and you have a unique opportunity to see how cities are being built. This is something that usually is behind the scene, because usually people cannot go to a construction site. We see the final result, and so, but you can witness the construction of the metro station, the central square, and the main building on the square is being built, and you can see it with your own eyes. It's a huge territory, an area with underground parkings, with a 25-story buildings are going to be built, 130 meters height, and on the top of the underground parking that will be in the center is the Japanese garden. We have planted the first tree of this Japanese garden, and I'd like to say that basically we have around 1 million square meters of underground area. We want our cars to be at rest underground. And this is a unique combination when 20% of the city is underground. We are at the epicenter of everything. This building is going to be the harbor of startups and a place for School 21, a programming school. Last year, we commissioned 2 buildings. People are living here already. Other 2 residential blocks are going to be commissioned very soon, and this year and the start of last year, people will start moving in. 1 million square meters are being commissioned, and another 900,000 are being designed. We have all the engineering infrastructure, so the city is being built. But it has not been so forever. 5 years ago, it was just a green field. On the one hand, it was a fantastic place with absolutely unique beauty, with Moscow River in 3 parts. We have a pond. We have an environmentally and ecologically clean space, a great wind arrangement. On the other hand, we have national parks that are protected. We have the soil that is not that great for construction. So there were many factors and challenges that prevented us from building here. That was a bad asset that was given to Sber as a security, as a collateral. It took it because the debtor could not pay loans. So 160 hectares. We compared it with the center of Moscow, and we have a big chunk of the center of Moscow, 1/3 within the Sadovaya ring, or 2 Monacos can be placed in our, can fit in our area, in the city. But challenges beget solutions, and this part of land became the territory of Moscow City. Then we had an international competition to make a design plan, the master plan for the development of the area. 5 million square meters of the properties, out of which 1 million is all underground, as I've said before. We have underground parking with every property. 2.5 million square meters of living space, 833,000 meters of offices, 13 nursery schools, 7 schools, 2 clinics, the longevity center developed by Sber, 3 areas and the park area, 3 park areas. And 65,000 people are going to live here, and 70,000 people are going to work here. 35 kilometers of the bicycle roads. We'll have a surfing center here, ice center where you can play hockey and other sports. The most important thing is that we provide opportunities for the kids who are going to live here, and something that is created for them is fantastic. We'll have a cartoon center, Soyuz Multfilm, and a number of other great facilities for the kids. And the territory itself really makes sure that we have to be very cautious when we develop, that we leverage the heritage here. We start with the special roads. The rainwater goes through these roads, through these bicycle roads, and we reuse it. We filter it and reuse it. We have a landscape. This landscape is absolutely unique. You will not see this landscape on these flat territories. We built hills. We built slanting roads around these hills. So smart city is clean city. And here you start with the kitchen. When you use organics for the you put them in the disposable, and it's put in the treatment facilities. The hard recyclable things put on the vacuum tube, and it just flies 100 meters from your home. We have 4 centers, recycling centers. And then it is the compacted, recycled waste is moved from the city. We have hundreds of thousands of various trees and bushes. We have recharging stations for the electric transport. We want to have clean transportation in our territory. So that's about the technologies related to the greenery. But the greenery is not something. The green is not something that you only see on our logo and in our green technologies. We're talking about the engineering infrastructure that helps to save the energy, have distributed energy. We have energy centers that on the top of the buildings we generate heat as well as cold there, and our smart home system is connected to these energy centers, and we create the system where the utility organization wins and the consumers win. This is a not very expensive and very clean technology. We also use other cutting-edge technologies. That means that you will not see some large tubes in our smart city. They're much shorter. We use special solar panels for the cladding, and some people say that they're not very efficient, but we use it as glazing, so it's very efficient. Our smart solutions and energy centers of the energy companies are also based on Sber solutions and Sber devices. They say these are the devices manufactured by Sber, designed by Sber as well. We could talk about the safety and the driverless cars that have been tested in our city, and many other inspiring ideas and technologies. I have to say that as we use these technologies, and thanks to using these technologies, we can be in line with international certification. We wanted to get the Li gold certification, but in 2022, you understand the situation. We were not able to get the certification, but we meet their requirements. And in the first three buildings now have the platinum level based on our Russian national standard. The building that we are in right now is also rated with the platinum level. So we have four buildings on our street, basically three buildings with offices. All these three buildings got the platinum level according to the Russian ecology ranking system. So you are on the greenest street in the world right now. Well, maybe there are some streets with more buildings, but if you talk about the ratio, we have basically 100% on the streets. 100% of the buildings on the street are in line with the requirements of the platinum standard of the Russian ranking environmental system. As we were designing, we asked the question that all startups should ask: who's our customer? We have developed the strategy of the development, and I'm proud of this strategy. These are our customers, and this is the profile of the people who are buying flats this year on the slide. To understand our product better and to understand your customer better, we had to become an expert in a number of issues. These are the materials and the concepts that we developed together with the experts and ourselves. Parks, that's a very interesting thing, where people like to walk and where people like to buy property. Sometimes it's not the same, by the way, and sometimes people do not like to buy flats near some urban, densely populated parks, but people would love to live near some quieter places, green places. Our park is working. You can see people who are walking along the park, and after the summit, I'd like to invite you to go to the park. You can actually walk around the park and breathe some fresh air. As we analyze the global trends, we classified some of the cities. I do not think that this is the comprehensive approach, but these are the three groups that we defined. One group is the initiative of the governments. When large countries or ambitious countries or growing countries are developing some cities, some separate cities, but historical cities are becoming smarter, and Moscow obviously is a very smart city given the number of services and technologies that are offered here, and there are other cities that have hundreds of years of history. They're smart as well. And the corporate projects, large corporations from large countries want to build their own cities. And that's important, because I think these are the projects that have the most potential, because corporations are more flexible and more efficient than the state. But obviously we need the state support, and we need, and obviously the contribution of the team of the city of Moscow is absolutely, cannot be measured. Absolutely outstanding. In 1147, Yuri Dolgoruki invited his brother to Moscow. That's the first historical recording of Moscow, and from this time we started the history of Moscow. He was the founder of Moscow, but historians and archaeologists know that Moscow actually is older than that, because there are settlements that were excavated, but a new city appeared. And how Yuri Dolgoruki, how did he describe to his brother where to go, basically? He says that, okay, there is a city in Moskva River, in Nevinная, at Nevinная place, in Niglinная is somewhere where Moscow River starts, and it's a little bit higher than Yauza. There is a hypothesis that Moscow, an old part of Moscow, an old version of Moscow was there, and Yuri Dolgorukiy decided to build Moscow on the other side. Yuri Dolgorukiy wanted to found the Moscow that is built with stone, and the old Moscow was built with wood, so he used innovative technologies. The old Moscow also was a pagan city, and in 1988 there was a Christianity that was in Russia, that became that started in Russia. Now Christianity won, because that is a more innovative management system. Management technologies as well as construction technologies, they started the greenfield, and then they actually is being rolled out across the territory. Why are you talking about that, Mr. Likhachev? It's because the new cities are creating new management technologies and new development technologies, and if these technologies can be rolled out, they are rolled out across the country, and it is the heritage for everyone. New technologies sometimes require new management solutions, because often the rules that we use, the law that was written before, could not factor in new innovations and new technologies and new approaches. Today, startups were offering their ideas and presenting their ideas. It might be the case, and often it is the case, if you do not change the regulations, the law, you cannot use all these solutions. Sorry, I just want to jump in. Smart city and our forum is about startups. How do you combine these two notions, and what is the role of the startup to sustainably develop this smart city? Well, you know, our city itself is a part of a startup. On the other hand, we are a testing ground for startups. We are open for new capabilities and opportunities for those who want to develop their ideas and test drive them. Only one warning to startups: if I have a technology, some concept of technology, the pilot version of technology, and I'm coming to you and saying, okay, just test drive it because I have a startup. It's not a startup. Startup means the technology that has already been tested. It's the understanding of the markets where this technology works, understanding the regulation of this market, understanding the future of this market, and understanding the services and the maintenance services for this technology that you are creating. So it's very important to look into the future to understand how it's going to work. And here we are very much similar, yet there is a huge difference. Can the startups work with us? Absolutely. We are a test ground for the new technologies, and we will be happy to apply these technologies. I would say that you are an entrepreneur, a visionary entrepreneur, visionary developer. You talk about the technologies. So what could be the technologies of the future that would be working in the future cities, like your smart city? I have the answer to this question. My answer to this question is twofold. The first thing that I want to mention is Bulgakov and what he said. And Voland, in his book, said that people love money, but it has always been so. Sometimes mercy is trying to get to their hearts, but they have a problem with the living area, with living space. Living space is a challenge. We offer that. People love money. Okay, yeah, we can deliver that. We have mercy and benevolence that is trying to reach their hearts. We can offer that as well. And people love life. They want to feel good. That's what this character of the Bulgakov book said. And here we can deliver. Sber decided to offer the following. What do we offer? In all areas, not only in the city creation, but the things that Sber develop in the banking services. We save your resources. We save your time, we save your money, and we want to make sure that our customers have more time for their hobbies, for their families, loved ones and friends, and that means that the technologies that we are going to use first and foremost are going to be in demand to decrease the non-productive time spent on various operations and transactions, like moving somewhere or delivering something or ordering something or do something.
We definitely want to be healthier, and therefore we need to have the ability to do sports, to exercise, opportunities for checkups, to see if we do not get sick, and manage that on time. And of course, we need security. And all of that requires that measures are to be taken in our times that are really not calm. And of course, these are the things that are going to be in demand in the future as we go forward. How flexible is SberCity and adaptable to those changes that you're talking about? Any fundamental idea that you use and doesn't change, it's immutable, or it changes all the time? I've already mentioned that this land has given us its requirements, so everything that we do has to be natural, environmentally friendly, resource effective, and energy saving. And this entails various approaches to setting up conditions for people, services. You can add services to this. I've mentioned the service center and other opportunities that one can use in order to strengthen and reinforce their health. It's about resource saving, about improving health, making people happier. And another important thought that has always been our guiding star: if someone here in your family or in your friends had children, are there those like this? Please raise your hand. I see raised hands. That's a great thing, a great happiness. In the first year, it's very happy, of course. But then, dear parents, you would have to think about how the children would be, living, and they will not come to work until 2045. And anything that you would put into them, anything that you would instill in them, any education and support you are going to give them, it's all going to be in demand in 2045 and would become either their competitive advantage or it wouldn't. And in that sense, that has always been a guiding star. We have always had to be cognizant of the need of creating opportunities for those who were born in our city. And there's another important thing for me as I was looking at the young ones in my family, for example, and I came to the realization that we adults, we sometimes move homes at one point or another. And some places are more like home, but your very first home, you became a separate individual for the first time. It's believed that people remember them from age 4 or 5, and it's believed that people would consider that particular home at the age of 4, would remember that as their home. And of course, they would be feeling as they are the hosts, they are the masters of that area, and everything would matter for them, the health, the nature, and various skills. That's what it is all built around. As one of the classics said, other people's children are growing so fast, and 2045 will come very soon. Let's talk about the legal framework. A lot of construction codes and norms are changing slowly. They haven't changed for decades. Some of those codes are changed sometimes, but the development of these new laws fails to catch up with the development of technology. Where's that facet of reasonable regulation? Can SberCity become a platform for new ideas in legislation and in rules? Not that it only can, it should. We have seen about 10 various bills introduced in the State Duma that are based on the results of our work, on our practice. Sometimes it's easier to use new technologies when you build something from the greenfield, other than if you are trying to do that in existing cities, living cities that are built up. It's important to have such proving grounds. It's important to have a critical mass of those, because if the technology is not used anywhere, then there is no need to change the laws. That's the value of projects like this. And they need to achieve certain criticality. But it is true, the laws are written with blood, with hard history and tragic events. And it's definitely easy to change them, but we don't have to if we don't need to. But we cannot live without rules and laws. So let's talk about self-driving cars or transportation in general. All laws to date have been built around the fact that there is a personal liability of someone who violates the rule. But who violates the rule in the case of a UAV? It's not clear. And until this remains clear, the industry doesn't evolve quickly. But at the same time, we realize that the number of accidents goes down because they are not driven by humans, but an algorithm by AI. The security and safety goes up, and the regulatory framework is lagging behind. So we need small territories, small cities that could be used as testing grounds for these new rules to replicate them further. And in summing up, can you say what is the difference between the city of the future and the city of today? SberCity here in Moscow. Who's going to live in this city of the future? What is going to be their mode of life? That's exactly what we're talking about. The individuals who will live here will be the people that value their time, value their resources. They want to be healthy. They want to make money. They want to be able to raise their family here. And we are focusing on them, and we're creating every opportunities for them. A few questions on top of that. What are the key KPIs for a smart city? What do you think? It's the happiness of the residents. We have 2 minutes left. Andrei, if I may, I have a quick set of questions of 5. Please give me 5 laconic answers to these 5 quick questions. Number 1, have you ever thought about opening your own startup, Andrei? At some point, yes, I did. But now all of my thoughts are here, and it's just built differently. And we have a lot of startups here in any case. It's done somewhat differently. The initial capital was given to us by Sberbank, and then we take loans. And so, in a sense, it is a startup. But have you? I have thoughts before. What kind of ideas? Had to do something with energy saving and energy efficiency, and some of those ideas got materialized here. Should one buy an asset, like a real estate asset, or rent it? Well, it all depends on the assets. If it's office property, it's one thing, but there's residential property, that's another. I see that sometimes apartments are not buying apartments, but are renting them. Our country chose another way, and some other countries do. Okay, what I like about the rental system is that there is an owner who sets the rules, and people vote with their money whether to live there or not. In our case, it's often a meeting of residents, and they are not professional managers, and that leads to unprofessional decisions, living in the city or outside of the city. It's best to live here in Rublevo-Arkhangelskoye. It's both a city and an outskirt. Understood. A skyscraper or a small house? A good question. How did the cities start? Any settlements, for that matter, with separate dwellings. Then they wanted to, put them together so that they would have one common law. So townhouses were built, and then they would stack them up to have more residential property on a plot of land. They grew up, but then it turned out that it is impossible to drive around the city or live there. It's gotten harder. And so to complete this loop of evolution, we are going back to medium-level height of buildings, where the apartment blocks are 7, 10, 11 floors. And the very last question, a view of the forest or the urban landscape. Our buildings, according to the master plan, are built in such a way that on one side you will always have a river or a park or both, or on the other you would see a modern, beautiful city. Welcome to SberCity in Rublevo-Arkhangelsk. Thank you very much, Andrey, for this public interview. I'd like to wish you the best of luck and to your project. I'm sure it will go down in history as some old boroughs of Moscow, old Moscow, and will become the city of the future that you have been talking about. Thank you very much.